if possible?
Yeah, so we do have a Juby. He is a Spanish speaker as well. He's
Okay.
still on the way. He's not here yet, but we do have another one. I'll grab.
Understood. Thank you. And good morning, sir. Could you please tell me your name?
Buenos días, señor. Héctor Francisco Domínguez, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you very much. Mr. Dominguez, sir, this is your initial appearance.
Señor Domínguez, hoy es su audiencia de comparecencia inicial.
I'm seeing you on a charge of burglary in the first degree.
Lo estoy viendo por un cargo de allanamiento de morada en primer grado.
And you're presumed innocent of that allegation, sir. Anything you say about it could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent.
Se presume que usted es inocente, señor, tiene derecho a guardar silencio.
And you do also have the right to be represented by an attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you, sir.
También tiene el derecho de contar con la representación de un abogado. Voy a nombrar a la oficina del defensor público para que lo represente, señor.
And I've reviewed the information from pretrial services, the information in the interim complaint, and the state's recommendation, and they're asking for a $20,000 bond.
Leí la información con respecto a la agencia previos al juicio, la queja interina, la recomendación de la fiscalía, y ellos recomiendan que le ponga una fianza de $20,000.
Mr. Mosier, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Preminger.
Your Honor,
Hang on,
just to be,
Le pregunté al señor juez, al señor Mosher, algo más que agregar. El señor Mosher indica que no, y luego el abogado, and I'm sorry, Attorney Primter, I don't know your last name.
that's correct.
Indica que él va a hablar, el que está abogado enseguida de usted.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Mr. Preminger, go ahead.
Sorry, Your Honor. I was just gonna say I want to keep it brief because it's harder to consult privately with needing an interpreter over Teams. Should I pause for?
Probably.
El abogado que está enseguida de usted acaba de indicar, voy a dar información breve porque es difícil tener una conversación en privado con usted cuando usted necesita un intérprete y tenemos esta audiencia a través de Teams, indica el abogado que está sentado enseguida de usted.
But the paperwork I have indicates there may be an allegation of a warrant from another county. We would ask the court to consider a nominal bond, maybe something less than the $20,000, but I'll leave argument on bonds after you can consult with a Spanish-speaking attorney.
El juez dice, perdón, su abogado que está sentado enseguida de usted dice, revisé los documentos, parece que existe otra alegación con respecto a otra orden de arresto de otro condado, pero en este momento el abogado que está sentado enseguida de usted indica si puede por favor poner una fianza mucho más pequeña, más baja de los $20,000 y dice que prefiere que después de que usted salga y hable con su propio abogado pueden alegar más con respecto a esto.
And the jail, is there a hold for Mr. Dominguez?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.
El juez pregunta al personal de la cárcel, ¿existe una orden de detención en la cárcel para el señor Domínguez? Y el personal de la cárcel indicó que no.
All right. So the court is going to impose a $20,000 cash secured bond.
Bien, el juez va a imponer una fianza de $20,000, puede ser en efectivo o puede ser garantizada.
The court notes that you appear to be on probation for a felony case out of Pima County and on release for a case out of Santa Cruz County.
El juez indica que está bajo libertad a prueba de un caso de felonía del condado de Pima y que está en libertad también en un caso del condado de Santa Cruz.
Court can order that you not possess any firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs.
El juez va a ordenar que no puede poseer ningún tipo de arma de fuego, ningún otro tipo de arma, que no puede poseer ni consumir ninguna bebida alcohólica ni drogas ilícitas.
Additionally, no contact with the victims and do not return to the incident location.
Además, no puede tener contacto con las víctimas ni regresar al lugar del incidente.
If you report that all supervised by pretrial services, so please comply with any monitoring or treatment that they may ask you to comply with.
Si usted paga esa fianza y sale en libertad, va a estar bajo la supervisión de la agencia previos al juicio, así que por favor cumpla con cualquier tratamiento o monitoreo que ellos le pidan que usted haga.
This court date is a preliminary hearing that's going to be on May 11th at 1:30 in the afternoon.
Su próxima audiencia va a ser una audiencia preliminar fijada para el 11 de mayo a la 1:30 de la tarde.
Please stay in contact with your attorney, and it's important that you come back to future court dates because if you do not do that, a warrant will issue for your arrest.
Por favor, es importante que siempre se mantenga en contacto con su abogado, se presente cualquier otra audiencia que se fije en su caso, porque si usted no se presenta en la corte, se va a emitir otra orden por su arresto.
All right, thank you, Mr. Dominguez. You are excused.
Gracias, señor Domínguez. Ya se puede retirar.
Gracias.
Please, together in three checks. Good morning. How are you? I'm good. Going to bed yet? Yes, I think it's gonna be at the evening. Okay, please. Yes. This, we're just waiting to see what your release is gonna be or when, so that you have been approved already for the Haven. Okay. Now you're making sure. That's, I don't know if she's gotta have another website at the Haven. So. Right here, this is the review hearing, that's not a bad thing either. But we're just waiting on something of works for like. As soon as they say.
It's like tomorrow, or?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to the Haven tomorrow, maybe?
If they end up releasing you, I can call us. And then.
Well, I'm not. Who released me?
All right, good morning, Ms. Wells. We keep seeing each other.
Hey, but for today,
Good
I'm
morning.
happy now.
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
heard.
crying.
Sounds like
Crying.
good. Well, that's all right. You know, I'm glad to hear it. And it sounds like the Haven may be opening up for you here very soon. So that's great, assuming that's true. And so I'm seeing this morning on a review here, and I'm waiting for the information to come up on my screen, but we'll talk about that in just a second. And in fact, at the jail, could we possibly swap out Miss Wells and come back to her in just a couple minutes? I'm waiting for some information to fill in on my end of things. So otherwise, we're just going to sit and wait until that happens. So we can maybe take the next defendant and see Miss Wells in a couple minutes. Thank you. And I don't know if we have Mr. Arvizu, if we can get him by chance, the other Spanish speaker, but I would imagine he's en route.
Where's that here? Okay.
He's gonna be off, he's out of it.
Okay.
Whatever, so that's everything.
Alrighty, good morning, ma'am. Please tell me your name.
Jennifer Chavez.
All right, Ms. Chavez, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you committed, and one charge that alleges that you committed disorderly conduct, which is alleged to be an act of domestic violence. It's a misdemeanor. You're presumed innocent of that charge. Anything you say about it could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. So in order to prepare for this hearing, I'm just checking out some of the information in pretrial services, and specifically, The listed victim in this allegation, Mr. Rodriguez, indicates that he does not oppose your release from custody. It does not oppose you having contact with him, and does not object to you returning home. So between that information and the other information I have, he seemed to be a good candidate for release. So that's what I'm going to do. Your next court date is going to be an arraignment, and that's going to be on Tuesday, May 26th. That's May 26th. It's going to be at 9 o'clock in the morning in Justice Court downtown. You'll get paperwork that has the address on there if you're not familiar with where it is. A couple things you got to do though: no firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence. And you need to come back to court. All right. So you got that court date on May 26th, 9 o'clock in the morning. And so if you don't come back to court, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. You may end up in the same seat you're in right now. Do you understand that, ma'am? All right, thanks. You're excused.
Someone should recognize see him stuck there.
Good morning, ma'am. Could you please tell me your name? All right, just a second. All right, so this is your initial appearance. And I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you committed 3 counts of disorderly conduct, all 3 of which are alleged to be actually domestic violence. Looks like it's alleged to have happened last night about 8:45 in the evening. You're presumed innocent of these allegations, ma'am. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say about them could be used against you. In order to prepare for this hearing, I did review the information from pre-trial, and it looks there's 3 alleged victims here. So 2 of them were able to be contacted, Jaden and Michael. And I'm sorry, let's see. No, Jaden and then the minor that was the minor sibling were contacted. They said that they're okay with your release from custody, okay with you having further contact, and okay with you returning to the shared residence. Attempts to contact Michael were unsuccessful. Does Michael live in the same residence?
No, he does not.
Okay, all right. So in light of that information, I am, and just the other information that I have, I'm willing to release you. One of the conditions that I need to impose though for now is that you have no contact with Michael. That can be potentially changed by a judge in the future. That's not a forever thing necessarily, but unless and until a different judge says otherwise, you need to have no contact with Michael, because we don't know where his head's at as far as whether or not he's okay with you having future contact with him. Does that make sense, ma'am?
Yes, it does.
All right, so I'm setting your next court date. It's going to be an arraignment. That's on Tuesday, May 26th, 9 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be in Justice Court downtown. You'll get paperwork that has the address on it. Additional conditions are that you possess no firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs, and no acts of domestic violence. All right, so that takes care of it, ma'am, other than to let you know that if you don't come back to court for future court dates, you will get a warrant for your arrest and you may end up in the same seat you're in now. Okay?
Okay.
Have a good day.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Morning, sir. Excuse me, your name.
Dorame.
Dorame, this is your initial appearance. I am seeing you on some allegations that you failed to appear in relation to some different things. I'm also seeing you on a matter at a Tucson City Court. The first matter I talked about, the failures to appear, will appear to be on different incidents out of Marana. So let's talk about these. As it relates to the Marana matters, alleges failures to appear in relation to a possession of direct paraphernalia and shoplifting. And then as it relates to the city matter, Tucson City Court matter, direct paraphernalia violation that appears to have happened last night about 7 p.m. So on all this stuff, you're presumed innocent, sir. Anything you say about all this could be used against you.
Thank you.
And you do have the right to remain silent. So just a second. It looks like you're being held without bond in relation to a Superior Court case. I'm not seeing you on that today. You'll probably be seen by the judge, I would imagine, early next week. And at that time, there will probably be a bond set. But for now, we're not talking about that. So as it relates to the Marana matters, I am going to hold you on those. It's going to be a $500 cash secured bond. You're going to be seen on Monday, though, on that. So you'll have the opportunity to meet with an attorney that I'm going to assign. Give me just a second. Going to be Janet Altschuler. So
Right.
her information is going to be on the paperwork you get, sir. So please give her a call and she can have a chat with you. All right. And so your next court date's on Monday. As I said, it's going to be at noon. You'll probably be seen on video for that. Also ordering that you not go back to the incident location where this shoplifting is alleged to have happened, and no alcohol, illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. So that takes care of the Miranda matter. I'm noting the felony hold you have as well. Let's talk about city court real quick, Tucson City Court, and then we'll be done. So again, on that's drug paraphernalia is the allegation. I'm actually going to release you on that one. But I'm going to set your next court date. It's going to be a non-transport review. It's going to be on June 12th at 9 o'clock in the morning. So if you're still in custody at that time, sir, you'll probably be seen on video for that. And but if you're out of custody, then you'll need to come down to court, and you'll have the day and time and location on the paperwork that you get there. So it's different courthouse, of course, city court downtown. And so I'm appointing the city public defender to represent you, sir. And that should take care of it. Other than, I got to tell you on the city matter, this is also the time set for your arraignment on that matter. I'm going to enter pleas of not guilty on your behalf, sir. And so it's important that you come back to court in the future on that one too, not only because you could get a warrant if you don't, but trial could go forward in your absence. If you were convicted at that trial, can be sentenced within 90 days of that conviction, you would lose the ability to appeal that conviction. You understand, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks. You are excused.
Yeah.
And I do have the information I need on Miss Wells. So whenever she can be fit in, I'm ready for Miss Wells. And ma'am, could you tell me your name?
April Garcia.
Thank you. So this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you committed criminal damage as an act of domestic violence. You're presumed innocent of that. And you do have the right to remain silent because anything you say about this could be used against you. And let me take a look. So the alleged victim is Lisandro Baez, and his input on whether or not he's okay with your release, further contact, that sort of thing could not be figured out before this hearing. He couldn't be gotten a hold of. So if I release you, ma'am, can you stay away from him and not have any contact for the time being?
Yes.
Yeah, that's just kind of a necessary thing for now. A judge may change that in the future. But for now, unless and until you hear otherwise from a different judge, you need to make sure that you stay away. And in light of that, I'm going to release you on this matter. Your next court date in Sahuarita is going to be on Tuesday, May 26th. If there's a good reason to have a hearing sooner, because it turns out Mr. Baez is okay with contact, then he can contact the Sahuarita prosecutor's office down there, and he can ask to have the release conditions addressed if he thinks that it's okay to have contact. He can voice that, and the judge may change the condition, but you can't have contact with him. So it's a little tricky. In any event, your next court date, Tuesday, May 26th, you're going to be released on your own recognizance, no firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs, and no acts of domestic violence. And that takes care of it. If you're not familiar with where the courthouse is down there, it'll be on the paperwork you get. One last thing is that you need to come back to your future court dates, because if you don't do that, a warrant's going to issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. You're excused.
Sorry, Judge, I heard 526. Is that at 9 at Justice Court?
It's actually 8:30, and it's down in Sahuarita, so it's at Sahuarita Municipal Court. Nice catch.
Thank you, Judge.
Noriego,
Good morning, ma'am. Could you please tell me your name?
Marie Osip,
I'm sorry, state again.
Kim Marie Osip,
Okay, is it also Kim Marie Noriego or formerly?
formally, yes.
Okay. This is your initial appearance. I am seeing you on charges that allege that you committed assault, alleged to be an act of domestic violence. It's alleged to have happened at the stroke of midnight, approximately this morning. So you are presumed innocent of that allegation. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say about it could be used against you. So let me take a look here real quick. All right, so the alleged victim is Virgil, and he indicated that he's okay with your release from custody, okay with you returning home, and okay with you having contact, of course. So for that reason, and given the other information I have, that's what I'm going to do. But I need you to follow certain conditions, and so that includes that you not consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons, no acts of domestic violence. Your next court date is going to be on Tuesday, May 26th. That's going to be at 9 o'clock in the morning in Pima County Justice Court downtown for an arraignment. And so it's important that you come back to that court date, ma'am, because if you don't come back to that court date or future court dates, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. You are excused. You should be out of the jail in a couple hours or so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
guys,
Good morning.
Right.
Please tell me your name.
Got cheese.
All right, Matisse, this is your initial appearance. I've seen you on charges that allege that you committed 2 counts of disorderly conduct, both of which are alleged to be acts of domestic violence. It is alleged to have happened about 10 o'clock last night, and you're presumed innocent of that. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say about it could be used against you. Now, let me take a look here. All right, so there's 2 alleged victims here, Mr. Trevor Sheese and then Mr. Nigel Sheese. And both of whom they could not be contacted to get their input as to whether or not they're okay with your release, further contact, and those sorts of things. So if I release you, ma'am, can you stay away from them and have no contact with them?
Yes.
All right, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to release you on this matter. Your next court date is going to be on May 26th, and it's going to be at 9 o'clock in the morning. You're going to get paperwork that says where it is, but it's going to be at Justice Court downtown, Pima County Justice Court. I'm also ordering no firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence. It's important that you come back to that court date, ma'am, because if you do not do that, a warrant's going to issue for your arrest, and you may find yourself in the same seat you're in right now. All right, thanks. You're excused.
Jonathan,
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Please tell me your name.
Jonathan Schlecht.
What? This is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges, one of which is disorderly conduct, the other which is assault, both of which are alleged to be acts of domestic violence. They're both misdemeanors, and so you do have the right to remain.
Your Honor, I'm here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. I was noted that I did have a victim present for that, and I just got ahead of myself there. Thank you. And so, ma'am, are you Erin Schlecht?
Yes, sir. The pre-trial court did not have my correct phone number, so that's why I'm talking to you instead. I do want to allow contact.
You do?
Just as long as there's no threats or yes, just as long as there's no threats or domestic violence or anything.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. And so, what I'm inclined to do is I am inclined to release him because he doesn't, from the information I have, he's not posing a strong risk. I'm inclined to release him. You're telling me that you're okay with contact. I'm okay to go along with that as well. And so I'm assuming that you're fine with him returning to the shared residence. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, as long as everything's fine.
Right. Okay. So That's what I'm going to do. How, Mr. Schlecht, so you've heard what's been said, and thank you, Ms. Schlecht, for being here, by the way. And so I am going to release you on this, sir. And so you may have contact with Ms. Schlecht, and you may return to the shared residence. However, some conditions that I need you to follow, and they're very important because if you don't do it, you're probably going to get arrested again, pick up a new case, that sort of thing. First of all, no firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I'm setting your next court date, and that's going to be on Tuesday, May 26th. It's going to be at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be in Pima County Justice Court downtown. So that the address for that courthouse is going to be on your paperwork. If you're not familiar where it is, you'll have that info. It's important that you come back to that court date because if you do not come back to that court date, then a warrant's going to issue for your arrest and you'll probably end up in the same seat you're in now. Do you understand all that, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you should be released from the jail in about 2 hours or so. Ms. Schlecht, thank you for being here today. Is there anything else that you wanted me to know before we conclude?
No, Your Honor, thanks for listening.
Yeah, you're welcome, ma'am. Everybody have a good day. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
Bye-bye.
Effort.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Please tell me your name.
Robert Shepard.
Shepard, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on a couple things. I'm seeing you on a warrant alleging failure to appear in relation to some matters out of, let's see. One of them appears to be out of Marana in relation to driving on a suspended license from March of 2024 with another failure to appear on the same case that predates the one today. And then also disorderly conduct, another misdemeanor that's alleged to have happened in 2023, August of 2023. That's out of Pima County Justice Court. So on all this stuff, you're presumed innocence or anything you say about these matters could be used against you. And so if I release you, will you come back to court, sir?
Yes, sir.
It's really important.
I was actually on the way.
Okay. All right. Well, it's it's just really important that you do that, sir, because I think you understand at this point what happens if you do not. Probably end up in the same seat you're in now. So I am going to release you on both of these matters. However, you're going to have two different court dates and two different courthouses. So it's important to be aware of that and make sure you're where you need to be when you need to be there. So on the justice court matter, again, that's the disorderly conduct allegation that you failed to appear on. You're going to be released on your promise to appear. Your next court date is going to be on June 2nd, and that's going to be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's going to be in front of Judge Foster.
Yep.
And so that takes care of that one.
Sir, which justice court was that? Pima Justice?
Yeah,
Or,
Pima. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, at 940 North Stone. Actually, I'm sorry. It looks like both of these will be in justice court, so that's good. One courthouse, one court hearing, so that's good. The other case will also be in justice court, June 2nd, 2 o'clock in the afternoon for a review hearing. So that makes it mighty easy. So please come back to court, sir, because if you don't, you'll get that warrant. All right. Have a good day.
All right, thank you.
Sorry.
Taylor.
Like a conveyor belt or something.
Yep. Hey, Taylor.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Please tell me your name.
Danny.
Say it again.
Danny.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Taylor. All right. I got you. All right. So, Mr. Taylor, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on a couple charges out of Pima County Justice Court that allege that you committed disorderly conduct. Actually, I'm sorry, 2 counts of disorderly conduct, one of which is alleged to be an act of domestic violence, or actually 2 of them are. It's just written weird. And then you also have a 3rd count, which is assault, a misdemeanor, alleged to be an act of domestic violence. So on all 3 of these charges, sir, you are presumed innocent. Anything you say about these matters could be used against you, and you do, of course, have the right to remain silent. So let me take a look at something real quick. Okay, so it looks like the two alleged victims, who is looks like a Laren Cook and then a Catherine Cook. So
Yeah, that's my wife.
all right, all right. And so, anyways, they were spoken to, and they said they're okay with your release. They're okay with you having further contact with them, and they're okay with you returning to the residence. So I'm going to go along with that, but I need you to follow certain conditions. That includes that you possess no firearms or weapons, you consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, you commit no acts of domestic violence. All right, you willing to do that, sir?
Yes, sir. I don't drink and all that.
All right, well, that's good. Then you got a head start on all that. So your next court date, sir, it's going to be on Tuesday, May 26th, 9 o'clock in the morning. That's going to be in Pima County Justice Court. And I'm going to release you on your promise to appear. It's important that you come back to that court date on May 26th at 9 a.m. because if you do not do that, sir, a warrant's going to issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
We'll be there.
All right. Thank you very much. You're excused.
Ward,
Morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Please tell me your name.
Jade Ward.
Mr. Ward, this is your initial appearance. Seeing you on a couple charges, one count, they're both misdemeanors. One is assault alleged to be an act of domestic violence. The other is disorderly conduct alleged to be an act of domestic violence. You're presumed innocent of both these charges, or anything you say about them could be used against you. And you do, of course, have the right to remain silent. And let's see, taking a look at some info. So it looks like the alleged victim is Monique, and she was not able to be contacted to see what her position was on you getting out of custody, you having contact with her, you returning to a shared residence. So here's what I'm inclined to do, sir. I'm inclined to release you from custody. However, I need you to stay away from Miss Monique unless a judge says differently in the future. Do you understand that, sir? Are you able to comply with that?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to release you on this matter. Your next court date is going to be, it's going to be on Tuesday, May 26th. And that's going to be at 9 o'clock in the morning in front of Judge Cornejo in Justice Court downtown. You're going to get paperwork that has that address on it. So you'll have that info along with the court date info. And so no firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence. And so if it turns out that, is it Miss Sherrod, Monique Sherrod?
Monique Sherrard, yes.
Sherrod, excuse me. Yeah, if it turns out that she's okay with contact, and that may be the case, just nobody could get a hold of her. If it turns out she's okay with that, she can let a judge know at a future court date, and they can probably change that condition. But for today's sake, you need to abide by that and no contact with her until a judge says differently in the future. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All righty, sir. Well, then, in light of that, you are excused. You'll be out of the jail in a couple hours. Your next court date's on May 26th. All right. You got to come back, because if you don't come back to your court date, sir, you're going to get a warrant. All right.
Understood.
All right. You got to have a good day, sir.
Thank you, good sir.
Eric Blood.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Please tell me your name.
Eric Flood.
Blood, this is your initial hearing.
There's one guy who got out.
And I'm seeing you on alleging that you committed a criminal, one count alleged to be an act of domestic violence. Looks like that's alleged to have happened back on July 5th of 2025. So right after the 4th of July last year. And you're presumed innocent of that, sir. Anything you say about it could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent. And just a second. So, Mr. Blood, if I release you on this matter, can you have no contact with the alleged victim? And that is
It's not a problem.
all right.
Yeah, it's not a problem.
All right. Yeah, so that's just one thing. And the reason why I say that is because she wasn't able to be contacted to see if she's okay with your release or future contact. So in light of that, you seem to be a fine candidate for release, but I just need you to have no contact with her own, all right?
Where she should get sure.
Oh,
All right.
yeah, that's not a problem. On R2, anything you asked me to do.
All right. All right, you got it. So What we're gonna do, sir, is I'm gonna set you a next court date. It's gonna be on June 2nd.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be at 1:30 in the afternoon. You'll get paperwork that says this. That's gonna be in Tucson City Court in front of Judge Millian. And conditions, I am gonna release you, like I said, but I need you to not possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, and no contact of any kind with Miss Monica Leone. And that
Aye,
means
sir.
don't go to where she lives or where she works, all right? And takes care of all of that. So you're going to be released, sir. So you'll be out of the jail in a couple hours. Couple final things for me, and then we're done. You got to come back to future court dates, because if you don't come back to future court dates, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. Probably end up in the same seat you're in now. That's number one. Number two is that not only could you get that warrant, but trial could go forward in your absence. If you were convicted at that trial and you didn't show up for it and couldn't be sentenced within 90 days of that conviction, you would lose the ability to appeal the conviction. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, if that takes care of it, you're excused.
Quick question. Hey, Your Honor.
Yeah, ask him. Yeah.
Your Honor, Mr. Blood was just wondering if the alleged victim does have want to express thoughts on conditions of release. Is there any time she can be heard between now and the 2nd?
Yeah, so
She's at the courthouse.
what you could do, yeah, there's a couple ways that could happen. What would if it turns out that she wants to be heard on that, she should probably contact the city prosecutor's office. She has rights as a victim, so she could contact the city prosecutor's office and say, hey, tell him whatever she thinks. If she's okay with contact, if it was all a misunderstanding, whatever she thinks about the whole thing, she may tell that to the city prosecutor's office, and then they can probably bring that up with the judge potentially sooner than June 2nd, so that if something needs to be changed, then that could be changed. That's option number one. Another option is she could file a motion herself at the courthouse. That's probably the lesser option, though, because it's just she does have rights as a victim, so it's probably going to be better for her to assert those rights and get the assistance of the city prosecutor's office to have her voice be heard. All right, but she can do either. All right, your excuse, sir. Thanks.
Mendoza.
Morning, sir.
Michael
Could you please tell me your name?
Daniel Mendoza.
All right, Mr. Mendoza, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on a charge that alleges that you possessed drug paraphernalia and that you were driving after dark with no rear reflector. All right, there you go. It's alleged to have happened about 3 o'clock this morning. You are presumed innocent of these allegations, or anything you say about them could be used against you. It looks like you might have a DOC hold. Other than that, I would be inclined to release you on this matter, but let me see whether or not you indeed have a DOC hold. And jail, do we have that confirmed?
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. In light of that, Mr. Preminger, do you want a small bond for credit, or how do you want to do this?
I think, yeah, we would request a nominal bond, Your Honor.
All right, so what I'm going to do, sir, is I'm going to impose a $100 bond. It's going to be a cash or secured bond on this matter. So, because you have the DOC hold, it sounds like you're probably not going anywhere. Or you're not getting out. If you're going somewhere, maybe you'll see. So I'm just imposing that small bond, sir, so you get credit, time credit on this case, which could potentially be useful in the future. So $100 cash secured bond. If you do get out, sir, just going to order that you not possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs. Your next court date is going to be a video review. That's going to be on May 8th, so 1 week from today. It's going to be at 1:45 in the afternoon. And it looks like it's going to be in front of Judge Maldonado. So I'm also appointing the city public defender to represent you, sir. So you'll have an attorney on that city case, and that should take care of it. Other than, I got to tell you that if you do get out of custody, sir, and you don't come back to court, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. And also, trial could go forward in your absence. If you were convicted to that trial and couldn't be sentenced within 90 days of the conviction, you would lose the ability to appeal the conviction. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Trying to think. Yeah.
So as I'm sitting in jail now, does that take time off my parole?
I don't know the answer to that. Actually, I should. It probably, well, I don't know. That's up to DOC, and they've got some rules that are more complicated than I'm able to follow sometimes. So I'm going to leave that up to DOC. You might be. Let me just tell you that. That's not a very good answer, but that's the best I can tell you. All right. Have a good day, sir.
Oh, sorry.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Can you tell me your name?
Greg Muller.
Just a second. All right, so Mr. Mueller, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you committed 1 count of criminal damage, 1 count of assault, and 1 count of disorderly conduct fighting, all of which are alleged to be acts of domestic violence. They are all misdemeanors, and you're presumed innocent of all of them. And you do have the right to remain silent, of course, because anything you say about this stuff could be used against you. And so I am looking at the information from pretrial services now. And so it looks like the alleged victim is Deborah Mueller, who appears to be her mother. And so here's the deal. Given that the pretrial services folks couldn't get her position, we don't know how she feels about your release, your returning home, and your future contact with her. So because of that, I'm inclined to release you, but I need you to stay away from her, have no contact with her. Are you willing to do that for the time being?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, so that makes it easy. So that's what I'm going to do, sir. I'm going to release you from custody on this matter, but you need to stay away from Miss Mueller. And I'm going to set your next court date, and that's going to be for June 1st, and that's going to be at 9:30 in the morning in front of Judge Hale.
So June 1st, 9:30.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you'll need to be there for that.
Yep.
And so one of the things, sir, that I'm thinking may be the case, to let me know if it's a yes or a no, but do you have property at Miss Mueller's residence that you would need to get?
I can leave it. I don't mind. And
Okay.
I was gonna ask about talking to a defense attorney, like
Sure.
one of those, and then maybe getting a restraining order on her.
So you may,
I know
mean,
this.
right. So you can, those are all things that you can pursue. However, I'm not going to provide an attorney for you because I'm releasing you on the case. If I were
Yeah.
going to hold you in custody, you would get an attorney appointed, but you can certainly consult with one. You just need to, go about that in your own time with your own dime. So that takes care of that part of it. You could also potentially seek an order of protection. You could get information on doing that at Tucson City Court. And one other thing that I am going to say, you did tell me that you're fine just leaving your property there, but if you do believe that you would like to go back there and get belongings that you have that are yours, I'm checking a box on your paperwork that says that you may return 1 time with law enforcement to retrieve personal belongings. So that's what it sounds like. You can go back to the house once, get whatever belongings you'd like to get. You just need to have a police officer go with you, and that's a fairly common process. So you could call like the non-emergency line at the Tucson Police Department, or go to one of their substations, and they should be able to assist you with that. You understand, sir?
Yep.
All right, so just a couple of things, and then we'll be done. So your next court date, of course, June 1st, 9:30 in the morning in front of Judge Hale. And a couple conditions are that you not possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or illegal drinks, commit no acts of domestic violence, and you're released on your promise to appear. So last thing, and then we're done, I promise, is that you got to come back to future court dates, because if you don't do that, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest, and you may end up in the same seat you're in now. And then also, trial could go forward in your absence. So if you disappeared, this case could go to trial without you being present at your own trial. And if you were convicted at that trial without being present and could not be sentenced within 90 days of the conviction, you would lose the ability to appeal the conviction. You understand that, sir?
Yep.
All right. Have a good day, sir. You're excused.
Sorry, Judge, what courthouse is that, Judge Hale?
Tucson City.
City Court. Thank you. Thank you, Judge. Appreciate it.
Your Honor, we do have the juvie now.
I am ready. Thank you. We do have the translator online still, so thank you for being patient.
Thank you.
All right. Good morning, sir. Could you please tell me your name?
Windows D. Okay. Javier Arbizo, Your Honor.
All right. And so, Mr. Arvizu, sir, we do have a translator here. And we want to make sure that you're able to understand everything that's happening. So would it be, do you want to have an interpreter assist you?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
He said yes, Your Honor.
Okay. So what I need you to do, sir, I understand that it sounds like you understand a fair amount of English, but what we need to do is allow me to say things and other people to say things, the translator to translate, and then you can answer as necessary afterwards. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. So, Mr. Arbizu, this is your initial appearance,
Señor Arbizu, hoy es su audiencia inicial
and I'm seeing you on one charge that alleges that you committed murder in the second degree.
Lo estoy viendo aquí el día de hoy por un cargo en su contra donde alega que usted cometió asesinato en segundo grado.
And you are presumed innocent of that allegation, sir. Anything you say about it could be used against you, and you do have the right to remain silent.
Señor, se presume que usted es inocente de esa alegación. Todo lo que usted diga se puede y se usará en su contra. Tiene el derecho a guardar silencio.
You also have the right to remain silent, and I did say that, I'm sorry. You also have the right to an attorney. I'm going to appoint the public defender to represent you.
También tiene el derecho a guardar silencio. Lo siento, ya lo había dicho. También tiene el derecho a tener a un abogado. Voy a nombrar a la oficina del defensor público para que lo defienda.
And Preminger is seated to your left. He's going to help you out for the purpose of today's hearing.
El señor Preminger está sentado enseguida de usted. Es el abogado que le va a ayudar el día de hoy para su audiencia el día de hoy.
In order to prepare for the hearing, I reviewed the information in the juvenile transfer memorandum paperwork.
Para poder prepararme para esta audiencia el día de hoy, yo revisé la información de los documentos del memorándum de transferencia de menores,
The probable cause statement along with the information from pretrial services and the state's recommendation.
lo que incluye una información de motivo justificante, también incluye información de la agencia previos al juicio y también incluye la recomendación de la fiscalía.
And the state is recommending a $150,000 bond. Mr. Mosier, is there anything else you'd like to add to that?
No, Your Honor.
La fiscalía está recomendando una fianza de $150,000. El juez le pregunta al señor Mosher, ¿algo más que usted quiera agregar? Él indica, no, su señoría.
Thank you very much, Mr. Preminger.
Your Honor, again, given that I can't consult privately with Javier, I'm gonna limit what I can request. I'll stop there for interpretation.
Thank you. Señor Preminger, ¿algo más que quiera agregar? De nuevo, su señoría, ya que no puedo tener una consulta en privado con el menor Javier, entonces voy a limitar lo que voy a solicitar.
Thank you very much. The court is going to impose the $150,000 cash secured bond.
Your Honor, just in regard to.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I thought that I didn't realize that you weren't done. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, Your Honor, I just, with regard to certainly where, if the court is inclined to hold Javier, we would request that the court consider juvenile detention based on the factors in Rule 7.7. It's a non-intentional offense, obviously one that's highly concerning, but not one that was specified towards any individual, particularly any other peer or juvenile.
One moment, please. Not specify individual, peer, or juvenile, correct? Thank you. El juez indicó $150,000 por la fianza, puede ser garantizado en efectivo, y luego el abogado de usted dijo, momentito, no he tenido la oportunidad de hablar, entonces su abogado acaba de decir, bueno, su señoría, quiero solicitar con respecto a dónde se va a quedar detenido este acusado. Con respecto a usted, solicita que se quede detenido en el centro de detención para menores. Dice que está de conformidad con la regla 7.7. que yo sé que este cargo es un cargo serio, pero no fue un cargo que fue intencional, aunque altamente preocupante este tipo de cargo, pero usted no fue en contra de una persona en específica, un individuo específico, un compañero específico o algún otro menor específico.
And then just lastly, Your Honor, I did note one offense noted for Javier. It looked like he was successful in complying with intensive probation. I may indicate he may be more successful with the structure geared towards him as a juvenile. And lastly, Your Honor, I did note, or in consulting with colleagues, the visitation at the jail is not fully divided with barriers from adults, which is contemplated in the rule as well. So for those reasons, we would ask if the court is not inclined to release that Javier be held until be held in juvenile detention. And also possibly if this is going to be revisited, certainly he'll have a chance to consult with a Spanish-speaking attorney from our office.
One moment, please. Su señoría, una última cosa que quiero decir con respecto al menor. Indico que parece que tiene otro delito anteriormente, Javier, y donde completó con éxito su libertad a prueba intensiva. Entonces, él indica que usted va a tener éxito si lo ponen o lo detienen o está detenido ahorita en una área que tenga más estructura, como por ejemplo con los menores. Y por último, este abogado indica que consultó con el personal de la cárcel. And interpreter is going to clarify. Did you indicate there is or there are no barriers between adults and minors at the jail?
In the visitation room, the barriers are not they're not complete, or they're limited barriers.
Ok, thank you. Además, su abogado indicó que se puso en contacto con la cárcel para ver si existe algún tipo de barreras o algo que divida a las personas adultas de las personas menores, y parece que no están completamente una división en la área donde puede recibir las visitas. Por eso toma en cuenta esto, la regla. Entonces quiere indicar, si no lo dejan salir en libertad, entonces que el juez ordene que usted se quede detenido en el centro para menores, y ya cuando ahí lo pueda volver a hablar acerca de ese tema con respecto a si lo pueden dejar salir, ya cuando usted pueda estar en contacto con un abogado que hable en español.
Thank you. All right, so the court is going to impose that $150,000 cash secured bond.
Gracias, indica el juez. Entonces, el juez va a ordenar una fianza de $150,000 en efectivo o garantizado.
And I'm going to talk about some conditions in a moment, but having reviewed Rule 7.7B,
voy a hablar con respecto a unas condiciones en un momento, pero después de haber revisado la regla 7.7b,
the court believes that it's appropriate for Mr. Arvizu to be housed at the juvenile facility.
El juez considera que es apropiado que el señor Arvizu se quede detenido en una instalación para menores.
The court makes this decision based on the non-intentional yet extremely reckless act that he is alleged to have committed.
El juez toma esta decisión tomando en cuenta que este acto no fue intencional, aunque fue extremadamente imprudente.
And additionally, the court reviewed the docket as it relates to its earlier juvenile offenses. They appear to be misdemeanor in nature.
Adicionalmente, el juez revisó el expediente legal con respecto a los otros delitos de menores. Parece que son delitos menores.
Additionally, he does not turn 17 for approximately 6 months.
Adicionalmente, él no cumple 17 años, sino hasta dentro de 6 meses.
So the court believes the factors in 7.7B warrant him being housed in a juvenile facility.
Entonces, el juez considera que los factores de la regla 7.7b ameritan que se quede detenido en una instalación para menores.
So, conditions that I'm imposing, sir, is that if you get out of custody, you are to not drive without a valid driver's license.
Bueno, señor, las condiciones que voy a imponer si por alguna razón lo dejan salir y ya está fuera de custodia es que no puede manejar si no tiene una licencia válida para manejar.
No alcohol or illegal drugs, no contact with the alleged next of kin,
No puede tener ni poseer ningún tipo de bebida alcohólica, ni drogas ilícitas. No puede tener contacto con ningún presunto pariente.
and I mean the next of kin, not alleged. And also, sir, your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing. That's going to be on May 11th at 1:30 in the afternoon.
And Your Honor, for the interpreter, in order to interpret correctly, next of kin of,
Of the deceased victim.
thank you. El juez le indica que no puede tener ningún tipo de contacto con el pariente de la víctima que ya falleció, del difunto o difunta. Su próxima audiencia va a ser para el 11 de mayo a la 1:30 de la tarde. Es una audiencia preliminar.
And sir, it's important that you stay in contact with your attorney at the public defender. And if you do not come back to future court dates, you are going to get a warrant for your arrest.
Señor, es muy importante que se mantenga en contacto con su abogado, el defensor público, y que si usted no se presenta a ninguna de las otras cortes que se fijen en su cuenta, le van a poner una orden de arresto.
And again, the $150,000 cash and secured bond, sir, you are excused.
Y de nuevo, señor, es una fianza de $150,000 en efectivo o garantizado, y ya con eso terminamos con su caso y ya se puede retirar.
Muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. Your Honor, may the Spanish interpreter be excused?
Yes, you may. Thank you for your patience. Have a great Friday and a good weekend.
Thank you, Your Honor. You're as well. Interpreter is disconnecting.
Oh, right.
Huh?
I think he said he found what he needed. So
Yeah, we can take Ms. Wells whenever we're ready. But
Yeah. And Judge, hi, my name's Amazon from Hope Incorporated. I have confirmed that she is already approved for the havens.
okay, all right, that's great.
Depending on the release date.
Okay, very good. Glad to
Thank
hear
you.
it. Yeah, thanks for the heads up. Good morning, sir. Please tell me your name.
Patterson.
Patterson, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on a charge that alleges that you actually, let's see, two charges, one of which I'm going to waive reading on. Counsel, let me tell me if you think otherwise on that. And then the other alleges that you possessed a narcotic drug. You're presumed innocent of both those allegations, sir. Anything you say about them could be used against you. You do have the right to remain silent. And you also have the right to be represented by an attorney. And I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender to represent you, sir. In order to prepare for this hearing, I'll review the information in the interim complaints, review the information from pretrial services and the state's recommendation, which is that I set $1,000 bond on each case and set a steps court hearing as to the drug possession allegation. Mr. Mosier, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thanks. Mr. Primiger.
Well, actually, Your Honor, just that he, in the other case, that he registered with law enforcement within 72 hours that he's released.
Gotcha. Thanks. Mr. Primiger.
Your Honor, I have 1 second to just briefly consult with Mr.
Sure.
Patterson.
Take time.
Mr. Patterson is consulting with him. He believes he can at least check with his mom in town whether he can reside there. He understands if he were to be released, what he has to do to be in compliance going forward. So he's asking the court for an opportunity to be released under pretrial supervision. In the alternative, he says he can't really post anything for bond, so we would ask the court to maybe consider a bond slightly below what the state has requested, but that's about it.
All right, thank you very much. So, Mr. Patterson, you do show to be a 3 out of 6 on the failure to appear scale. So, but I'm willing to release you to the supervision of pretrial services, but I need you to follow some specific conditions. All right. So, first of all, no firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs. You're going to be released to pretrial services, so please comply with any monitoring or treatment that they ask you to comply with. Also, I am including information here that you must comply with registration requirements at the Pima County Sheriff's Department within 72 hours of release. So I need you to head on over there and take care of that side of it. And then it also looks like you may be eligible for a program called STEPS. So STEPS is a good opportunity if you're eligible. In my opinion, you'll obviously have a right to talk to an attorney about that, get some advice from them. But I think it's a good opportunity in the sense that it's a way for you to potentially earn a dismissal as it relates to this new drug allegation. All right. The way you would earn the dismissal is by engaging in drug treatment and staying in contact with pretrial services. You take care of what they ask of you, and then you get the dismissal. You don't need to tell me, yes, I want to do this, or no, I don't want to do this today. But are you interested in learning more about that, sir?
Yeah, I really want to change my life.
Good. Good. I'm glad to hear it. So what I'm going to do, sir, is I'm going to set what's called a STEPS court hearing, and that's going to be on May 8th at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be 1 week from today, next Friday. That's going to be in front of Judge Miller. She's on the 3rd floor at Superior Court. And counsel, are you willing to waive time on the PH?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So I'm going
Library.
to do that too. So the preliminary hearing date is going to be on June 15th for you, sir. So just stay in contact with your attorney at the public defender because he can tell you more about all this. But it's important that you come back to future court dates, sir, because if you don't do that, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Plus, if you don't show up for the STEPS opportunity, if you are eligible for it, you could lose the ability to do it. So that wouldn't be good either. All right. So that should take care of it, sir. You are excused.
Yeah, with you guys, the important one to do today. I get released as soon as possible. Yeah. Practically nothing else. Thanks, yeah.
Always forget to put that in there. Morning, sir.
Good morning,
Just tell me your name.
Corey Smith.
All right. So, Mr. Smith, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you committed burglary in the 1st degree. You are presumed innocent of that allegation, sir. Anything you say about it could be used against you. And you do have the right to remain silent. And you also have the right to be represented by an attorney. And I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender to represent you, sir. And so let's see. Looks like you have a probation hold. In order to prepare for this hearing, I did review the information from pretrial services, the information in the interim complaint, and the state's recommendation, which is I hold you on a $10,000 bond. Mr. Mosier, anything further?
Your Honor.
Well, thank you. Mr. Preminger?
Your Honor, believe from what I'm seeing, Mr. Smith is showing a no bond hold from another county. With that information, we would request a bond, something under maybe a bit what the state has requested, maybe something a little bit closer to a nominal bond in this allegation.
All right, so I am gonna hold Mr. Smith on a $7,500 cash secured bond. And if you do get out of custody, sir, it's unlikely that you would, but if you do, you're gonna be supervised by pretrial services, so please comply with any monitoring or treatment that they ask you to comply with. And also not possess any firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs. Because you have that probation hold, it probably doesn't make sense to even attempt to post a bond if you could. So next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing. That's going to be May 11th, 1:30 in the afternoon. And it's important that you come back to future court dates, sir, because if you do not do that, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes.
Thank you. Your excuse.
So a public defender was appointed?
Yep.
Mhm.
PD.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Oh, there it is. Okay. Can you close it? There it is. Just a second, I'll be right with you. Alrighty, hold on. And could you please tell me your name?
Elisa Alvarez.
All right. Alvarez, this is your initial appearance. I've seen you on a few things. So one moment, let me get it all queued up here. I'm seeing you on two new interim complaints that allege that you possessed a dangerous drug and possessed a drug paraphernalia. That's alleged to have happened on April 30th, and then possessed narcotic drug and drug paraphernalia on April 23rd. You also are being seen on 3 failures to appear at a Tucson City Court. On all this stuff, you're presumed innocent. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say about it could be used against you. You also have the right to be represented by an attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County legal advocate to represent you. And in order to prepare for the hearing or review the information from pretrial, the interim complaint, and the state's recommendation, which is that I hold you on a $2,500 cash secured bond on each of these 2 cases and set a smart court hearing on each of them as well. Mr. Mosier, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Primiger.
May I consult very briefly with Ms. Alvarez?
Sure.
Ms. Alvarez was just explaining to me from planning or had treatment set up for Thursday, next Thursday, she says. So she's asking the court if it would consider release for her to try to get to that treatment at CBI. She said that she would be unable to post the $2,500 bond. So if the court is going to impose a bond, we request something maybe a bit under the $2,500 that the state is placed.
All right, thank you. So I am going to impose that $2,500 cash secured bond. The court notes a couple of things. First of all, Ms. Alvarez appears to be a 6 out of 6 on the failure to appear scale. That's borne out as well by the Tucson City Court warrants we're going to talk about in a minute. Also, it looks like she was on release for a felony offense when she committed these 2 new ones, or alleged to have committed these 2 new ones. So the state could have asked for a no bond hold. They're not asking for that. So in light of that, the $2,500 bond is what it's going to be. It's cash secured bond. Pretrial services, if you post that bond and get out of custody, you're going to be ordered to not possess any firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs, and submit to monitoring and treatment as directed by pretrial services. Also, ma'am, I'm not sure if you're going to be eligible or not. You might be eligible, but it looks like you might be eligible for this program called STEPS, which, assuming you're eligible for it, it's a good opportunity, because what it would allow you to do, it allow you to have these 2 new cases dismissed before you ever get indicted, let alone convicted. So what you would agree to do is participate in treatment as it relates to a drug problem, possible drug problem. And if you complete the treatment requirement, you stay in contact with the pretrial services while all that's playing out, then you could have these cases dismissed. Are you interested in learning more about that opportunity, ma'am?
Yes.
All right, thank you. So I'm going to set a STEPS court hearing. It's going to be 1 week from today. It's going to be next Friday, the 8th at 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm also setting a preliminary hearing. That's going to be on May 11th at 1:30 in the afternoon. And given that your bond is $2,500, if you're able to post that, then you need to come back to court on May 8th at 9 o'clock in the morning, Superior Court. If you're still in custody, you'll be brought to court for that hearing, most likely. But you can learn more about the opportunity at that time, all right? And so let me talk to you about the city matters. It's 2,500 cash secured on each case. So on the felony matters, I should say. Sorry. So let's talk city stuff now. All right. So on the 3 city FTAs, I am going to hold you on a $250 cash secured bond on those matters. Your next court date is going to be a video review. That's going to be on the afternoon of Friday, May 8th. So the same day as that STEPS hearing, but in the afternoon at Tucson City Court in front of Judge Bond. I'm ordering possess, consume no alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs, appointing the city public defender to represent you. Noting the felony holds. And a couple things, and then we're done. So first of all, you need to come back to court, because if you don't come back to court in future court dates, then you could get a warrant for your arrest, end up in the same seat you're in now. So that's number 1. Number 2 is that trial and the city court matters could go forward in your absence. If they went forward in your absence, you were convicted without you being there, you could lose the ability to appeal that conviction if you did not show up within 90 days of the conviction. Do you understand that, ma'am?
All
right. Thank you very much. You are excused.
It's the information layer next to it.
Hello.
Hi, could you please tell me?
It's Cairo Ayala.
Right, and so just a second. So this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on a charge alleging that you committed criminal damage. That is something that you're presumed innocent of. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say about it could be used against you. I'm appointed the Pima County Public Defender to represent you. And in order to, and you also have an attorney, Mr. Preminger, seated to your left. He's going to help you out for this morning. And in order to prepare for the hearing, I did review the information from pretrial services, the information in the complaint, the state's recommendation, which is released to pretrial services. Mr. Preminger, you have a problem with that?
No, Your Honor.
All right, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to release you to the supervision of pretrial services, but it's important that you comply with any monitoring or treatment that they ask you to comply with. Additionally, some additional conditions include that you not drive without a valid driver's license and that you consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. So your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing. That's going to be on May 21st at 1:30 in the afternoon. Stay in contact with your attorney at the public defender because they can tell you more about what's happening with that. And it's important that you come back to future court dates because if you do not do that, a warrant's going to issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thanks for your excuse.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Morning, sir.
Please tell me your name.
Miguel Becerra.
All right, Sarah, just a second. All right, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you possessed a narcotic drug for transfer and that you possessed a prescription-only drug for transfer and possession of drug paraphernalia. On those allegations, you are presumed innocent. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say about these matters could be used against you. You also do have the right to be represented by an attorney, and I'm going to appoint one for you. They're going to be with the Pima County Public Defender's Office. And in order to prepare for this hearing, I reviewed the information from pretrial services, the information in the interim complaint, the state's recommendation, which is that I release you to pretrial services. Mr. Preminger, any objection to that?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Becerra Armenta, I am going to release you to the supervision of pretrial services. So please comply with any monitoring or treatment that they ask you to comply with. Also ordering that you not consume or possess any alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. Your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing. That's going to be on May 21st, 1:30 in the afternoon. And it's important that you come back to future court dates because if you don't do that, sir, a warrant could issue for your arrest. You could find yourself in the same seat you're in now. Do you understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, very good. You should be out of the jail in a couple of hours.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I should be calling here a few days before this.
Yeah, I would say that.
Morning.
Good morning.
Please tell me your name.
Cynthia Galindo de la Cruz.
All right, thank you, man. And so this is your initial appearance. And I've seen you on charges that allege that you're a fugitive from justice out of the state of New Mexico. Looks like it's Bernalillo County, so that would be Albuquerque, thereabouts. You're presumed innocent of that allegation, and you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say about it could be used against you. And in order to prepare for this hearing, you also have the right to an attorney, I should say. I'm going to appoint the Pima County legal defender to represent you. Mr. Frank is going to help you out for today's sake. And just a second. Seen her in pre-trial. And do we have is pre-trial on? Do we have a report for Miss Galindo de la Cruz?
Your Honor, this is Lisa from pretrial. It was a probation violation warrant, so we don't write those.
Got it. Okay. All right. So as it relates to the fugitive warrant matter, I am going to hold you without bond because the law says that if you're alleged to be a fugitive from justice, and you're alleged to be out of state, out of the jurisdiction where the offense is alleged to have occurred, and that happened while you're alleged to be on probation for a matter, then the law requires that I hold you without bond. So that's what I'm going to do today. However, I'm going to set a fugitive warrant hearing. That's going to be on May 6th. So that's Wednesday, May 6th. It's going to be at 1:30 in the afternoon. And so we will see you then. And we'll talk more about it. Should actually be in front of me. We'll talk more about, whether or not you'll head back to New Mexico, that sort of thing. But in the event that you do get out of custody, I'm going to order that you possess no firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs. And that should take care of it, other than to advise that if you do get out of custody, you got to come back to court, because if you don't do that, a warrant's going to issue for your arrest. All right. You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Yes.
Your
Judge, is the legal defender
Yes.
represent this?
legal defender is the attorney.
I'm sure also present for right now.
That's it.
That's it.
Oh, Martinez.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Who's sending your name?
Norris Martinez.
All right, Martinez, this is your initial appearance. Seen you on a couple things, actually 3 things, it looks like. First includes new felony charges that are alleging that you possessed a dangerous drug and you possess drug paraphernalia. Also seeing you on a failure to appear out of South Tucson Municipal Court in relation to different things that include theft, multiple counts of theft, and then another case that alleges criminal trespass in the 3rd degree, possession of drug paraphernalia. These date back to October of 2025, April of 2025, and March of 2025. And then I'm also seeing you on failures to appear at a Tucson City Court. We're going to talk about all this stuff, but as it relates to all these things, you are presumed innocent. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say about them could be used against you. You also have the right to be represented by an attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you, sir. And in order to prepare for the hearing, or review the information in the interim complaint, the information from pretrial and the state's recommendation, which is I hold you on a $500 cash secured bond and set a steps court hearing. Mr. Moser, anything further on that?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Primiger.
Can I speak very briefly with Mr. Martinez? No objection to the bond at this time.
All right. So I'm going to set a $500 cash secured bond, and going to set your next hearing for a preliminary hearing. That's going to be on May 11th, 1:30 in the afternoon. No firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs. Submitting monitoring or treatment is recommended by pretrial services. Public defender's the attorney again. Also, it looks like you may be eligible for a program called STEPS. It's a good opportunity if you are eligible for it, in the sense that you may be able to have these drug charges dismissed before you ever get indicted, let alone convicted. The way that you would earn that dismissal is by agreeing to participate in treatment as it relates to a possible substance abuse problem, completing the treatment that's asked of you, and then staying in contact with pretrial services as your case plays out. Are you interested in learning more about that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. Listen, about the bond, I have no way to pay that. Could I just be released to I'll be staying with my brother here in Tucson?
No, sir, I'm not going to release you. And the reason why is that the information from pretrial is that you're a 6 out of 6 on the failure to appear scale. Seems like you're having real difficulty getting to South Tucson Municipal Court on different matters, and you also have the warrant out of Tucson City Court. For all those reasons, I am going to impose that bond, sir. So I'm also going to set a STEPS court hearing. It's going to be 1 week from today. That's where you can learn more about that drug treatment program, potentially earn that dismissal, assuming that you're eligible and you do what needs to be done. It's going to be 1 week from today, Friday, May 8th, 9 o'clock in the morning. That's going to be in front of Judge Miller in Superior Court. So if you're still in custody, you'll be brought to court for that. I think I might have said this, but no firearms or weapons, no alcohol, illegal drugs. And if you post a bond, you'll be supervised by pretrial services. I'm also setting a preliminary hearing May 11th, 1:30 in the afternoon. So that takes care of the felony. We're going to talk about South Tucson now. And on that, I'm going to hold you on a $500 cash secured bond on that one as well. And your next court date on that is going to be on Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning. You'll probably be seen on video for that. And if you do get out of custody, sir, no contact with the alleged victims. Do not go back to the alleged incident locations. That takes care of that. And then finally, out of Tucson City Court. All right, so I've got failure to appear in relation to theft, shoplifting, possession of drug paraphernalia. And I've got new charges that appear to be theft, shoplifting related, and possession of drug paraphernalia. They're alleged to have happened on April 16th, so about 2 weeks ago. So on those, I'm actually going to release you on the city court cases. You're going to be held on the other two, but I'm going to release you on the city stuff. And I'm going to set what's called non-transport review. It's going to be on June 12th, 9 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be in front of Judge Floats at City Courts. And going to appoint the city public defender to represent you. They can help you kind of keep some of this stuff organized, since you got courthouse cases in different courthouses. One thing I didn't do also is I'm going to appoint an attorney on your South Tucson case. So I'll come back to that in just a second. And June 12th, like I said, is a court date. It's going to might be in front of Judge Verena or Floats. I'm not certain. In any event, sir, it's important that you come back to the city court dates, because if you don't, you're going to get a warrant. That's true for any of the hearings that you have. If you don't show up, you're going to get warrants again. Also, on the city court stuff, trial could go forward in your absence if you were convicted at that trial and could not be sentenced within 90 days of that conviction because you did not show up for the trial. You could lose your ability to appeal the conviction. Then I want to quickly go back to the South Tucson matter, get you an attorney on that because I'm holding you on a bond. Look at that. I'm appointing Michael Vaughn as your attorney. Michael Vaughn is his name. His information will be on the paperwork that you get. All right, so that takes care of it all, sir. You are excused.
McMarion.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please tell me your name.
Ebony Monique Marion, sir. How are you?
How are you?
Not too good.
I understand that.
Yeah.
All right, so this is your initial appearance, ma'am. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you possess a narcotic drug and you possess drug paraphernalia. You're presumed innocent of both of those allegations, and you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say about this case could be used against you. You also have the right to be represented by an attorney, and that's going to be the Pima County Public Defender's Office. In order to prepare for this hearing, I review the information from pretrial services, the information in the interim complaint, and the state's recommendation, which is that I hold you on a $2,000 cash secured bond and set a steps court hearing. Mr. Mosier, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thanks. Mr. Preminger.
One moment, Your Honor, may I speak very
Yeah, go for it.
Your Honor, so it's just confirming with Ms. McMarion, she does have residence available with her mother. It looks like, again, there's would be a steps hearing. She understands if she were released, she'd have to make it to that or she would lose that opportunity. She also expressed she's a caretaker for her mother. Even the allegation, which is just personal possession, drug allegation, we would ask the court to consider release to pretrial services. She understands that she needs to comply with that. In the alternative, we would ask if the court's not going to release just the bond lower than the 2,000 requested.
One thing that I didn't know sooner that I have seen is that it appears that she has a probation hold because a probation violation warrant appears to have issued on a Pima County Superior Court case back around Halloween of 2024. So in light of that information, the court is going to impose that $2,000 cash secured bond for Ms. McMarion. And going to set your next court date. It's going to be a preliminary hearing and it's going to be on May 11th. May 11th, and that's going to be at 1:30 in the afternoon.
We got it up.
And if you do get out of custody somehow, you're going to be supervised by pretrial services. So please comply with any monitoring or treatment that they ask you to comply with. Also, it looks like you might be eligible for a program called STEPS. I'm not certain if you will be, but you might be. And so what that is, ma'am, is it's an opportunity for you, if you're eligible, to have this case dismissed before you ever get indicted, let alone convicted. The way you'd get that dismissal is by completing drug treatment and you stay in contact with pretrial services. You don't need to make a decision one way or another today, but are you interested in at least learning more about that opportunity?
Graduating today.
I'm sorry, I'm not gonna release you, ma'am, because you have that probation hold. So I believe even, and just to confirm at the jail, bless you, there is a hold at the jail, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, pretrial services didn't really show it, although it did note the existence of the warrant on the rap sheet. So
$2,000 the best I can go.
right, well, it's actually worse than that. I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but because you have the probation hold, even if you post that $2,000 bond, you're still going to be held because you got the probation hold as it relates to the 2024 matter. So In any
Good.
event, go ahead.
After, just to clarify, there need to be, does that warrant either need to be quashed now, or does there need to be a hearing set to quash it, or?
So there will be a hearing. There will be an initial appearance on the petition to
Well,
revoke
hold on, you
probation.
guys just not released. How do you look?
So there will be an initial appearance on the petition to revoke probation. My guess is that'll happen on Monday or Tuesday in the afternoon next week. Monday, it'll be in front of me. At that point, I'll quash the warrant, or Judge Miller will at that later point in time. We'll talk about it.
Your Honor, can I say something? I've been arrested on this, but 4 or 5 times. They've never done anything.
Well, I'm sorry, ma'am. I've made my decision, and so that's that. And you do have the probation hold there. I saw a petition to revoke probation that's in the court docket.
For 2 years, and I've been arrested about 7 times. They've never done anything about it. That's how is that my fault?
Well, I mean, that may be true. What I know is that there's a warrant, and so because of that, you have a hold. And so you're going to be seen on that petition to revoke probation next week. And so I'm also setting a steps court hearing. It's going to be next Friday at 9 o'clock in the morning. And so you'll learn more about that opportunity, ma'am. If you are eligible for it and you want to take advantage of it, you can. But you can talk to an attorney before that. So that takes care of it for now, ma'am. Thank you very much. You're excused. Good morning.
Morning.
Please tell me your name.
Afronia Melendez.
All right, just a second. All right, so Mr. Melendez, this is your initial appearance, and I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you committed unlawful flight from a law enforcement vehicle, pursuing law enforcement vehicle, possession of a narcotic drug, possession of drug paraphernalia. On all these things, you are presumed innocent. Also seeing you on a failure to appear at a Tucson City Court alleging that you failed to appear in relation to a criminal trespass allegation. You are not only presumed innocent, you do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say about these things could be used against you. I'm going to appoint an attorney. It's going to be the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. And in order to prepare for the hearing or review the information in the interim complaint, the information from pretrial and the state's recommendation, which is I hold you on $1,000 bond. Mr. Mosier, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Preminger.
Can I just talk very quickly with Mr. Melendez, Your Honor?
Sure.
Go ahead, Your Honor.
All right. So I am going to impose that $1,000 cash secured bond for you, Mr. Melendez. And if you post that bond, you're going to be supervised by pretrial services to please comply with any monitoring or treatment that they ask you to comply with. I'm also going to order that you not possess any firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs. Do not drive without a valid driver's license, please. Next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing. That's going to be on May 11th at 1:30 in the afternoon. So that takes care of the felony stuff. We're going to talk city stuff now. And on the city court matter, I'm seeing you on a charge of criminal trespass in the third degree. Again, that relates to a failure to appear. Original incident date, February 18th, 2026. On that one, I'm going to hold you on a $500 cash secured bond. Going to appoint the city public defender to represent you. Order that you not go back to the incident location if you do get out of custody. Your next court date is going to be a video review. That's going to be on May 8th. And that's going to be at 1:45 in the afternoon. And it's important that you come back to future court dates, sir, because if you don't, not only could you get a warrant for your arrest, but on the city court matter, that trial could go forward in your absence. If you were convicted of that trial and couldn't be sentenced within 90 days of that conviction, you could lose your ability to appeal the conviction. Do you understand that, sir?
Yeah.
All right, thanks. Your excuse.
Marcus.
Mary, Jordan.
Here's a free space.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Please tell me your name.
Morning, Mary.
Mr. Mary, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you possessed a dangerous drug for sale, couple counts of that, possessed a narcotic drug for sale, you you possessed marijuana for transport and or sale, and possessed a weapon in a drug offense and possessed a weapon as a prohibited possessor. On all these charges, you are presumed innocent. Anything you say about these allegations could be used against you. And you do have the right to remain silent about them. And I'm going to appoint an attorney to represent you, and that's going to be the Pima County Legal Defender. In order to prepare for the hearing or review the information from pretrial services, the information in the interim complaint, and the state's recommendation, which is that I hold you on a $15,000 cash secured bond. Mr. Mosier, anything else?
No, you're not.
Thank you. And Mr. Preminger.
Can I speak with Mr. Mary really quickly?
Sure, go for it.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor just explained to me the most money he could probably post would be $5,000 to $6,000. He would still be working on exactly where he might go if released. So we would ask that the court not impose bonds for that amount if it is going to hold him, as that would essentially be his maximum needs.
All right, thank you very much. The court is going to impose a $7,500 cash secured bond for Mr. Mary. So Mr. Mary, if you post that bond, sir, you are going to be supervised by pretrial services. So please comply with any monitoring or treatment that they ask you to comply with. Court's also ordering that you not possess any firearms or weapons. You're not legally allowed to have them, as far as I can tell. So don't possess them, please. No alcohol or illegal drugs. And your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing. That's going to be on May 11th, 1:30 in the afternoon. Please stay in contact with your attorney at the legal defender. They can talk with you about all this more. And also, you need to come back to future court dates, because if you don't do that, sir, you're going to get a warrant for arrest. You'll probably be in the same seat you're in now. All right? Sure.
7,500 start. I'm sorry, 750 at first, and then I did the rest of those that work.
Yeah, we get to it.
Yeah, basically, you could speak to there's bail bondsman that you may be able to get in contact with and work that out. I don't know the exact logistics of it, and even if I did, I really shouldn't advise you on that, sir. But there's ways to navigate that process. You can get more info at the jail. All right, thanks, sir. You're excused. Good morning, sir.
Morning. Miguel Angel Monge.
Charge that alleges that you committed aggravated driving under the influence. You're presumed innocent of that allegation, sir, and anything you say about it can be used against you. You also have the right to remain silent. And I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender to represent you. And I did, in order to prepare for the hearing, I reviewed the information in the interim complaint, reviewed the state's recommendation, which is $2,000, and the information from pretrial. Mr. Mosier, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thanks. Mr. Preminger?
Your Honor, would ask the court to consider release. There's one prior allegation of a prior from Mr. Monge. It doesn't appear to be related to driving under the influence. The assessment for pretrial appears he's stable, that he can reside with his mother. For male and residential purposes, it looks like he's employed full time, so it looks like he's pretty connected to the community. Should be able to appear for court. Has not had recent legal trouble. Would be able to comply. Obviously, would not be allowed to drink or drive without a license if released. So we'd ask the court to consider giving him that opportunity. If not, we would just ask for maybe a bond below the 2,000 that the court has requested. He's just adding that he has some kids that he takes care of as well.
All right, thank you. So I am willing to release you to the supervision of pretrial services, Mr. Monge. I say that because I don't see any prior DUI convictions, not to say that, that is just something that the court takes into consideration. Also, to the extent that you do have other criminal history, it appears to be 9+ years old since you finished the sentence as it relates to the other case. So for that reason, pretrial services it is. Your next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing that's going to be on May 21st, 1:30 in the afternoon. And you cannot drive without a valid driver's license, no alcohol or illegal drugs. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, really important that you follow those two conditions. And stay in contact with your attorney at the public defender's office. They can tell you more about what's happening with that preliminary hearing date. Also, you got to come back to future court dates, because if you don't do that, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. All right.
Appreciate you.
Yep. Have a good day, sir.
These hearings may or may not happen, as it says. So yeah, they'll know by, I would call them soon. They may not know for closer to the date whether it's going to happen, but just call centers.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yep.
I'm dismissed, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Palmer.
Morning, sir.
Morning.
Just send your name.
Derek Anthony Palmer.
Palmer, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on a couple things. So I'm seeing you on a warrant out of Pima County Superior Court. It's an arrest warrant alleging that you committed theft of means of transportation, burglary in the 3rd degree, unlawful flight from a pursuing law enforcement vehicle, and criminal damage. That listed incident date of February 5 of 2026. Also looks like I'm seeing you on a warrant alleging a failure to appear I'm sorry, a fugitive of justice out of the state of Texas, uh, alleging evading arrest with a vehicle. So on all these things, you are presumed innocent of them. You do have the right to remain silent. I am going to appoint an attorney to represent you. I'm also, let me take a look. I'm also seeing you on a misdemeanor out of Pima County Justice Court that alleges that you failed to appear in relation to a assault, domestic violence allegation. So starting with the felonies, I am appointing the Pima County legal defender to represent you, sir. That's going to be on the fugitive matter. And I think it's probably going to be the same on the other new local charge, but I will get to that in a moment. And in order to prepare for the hearing, I reviewed the information in the interim complaints, the information from pretrial services, and the information in the NCIC workup along with the state's recommendation. State's recommending a $30,000 bond as it relates to the new arrest warrant, and then a $10,000 bond as it relates to the Texas fugitive matter. Mr. Moser, anything further?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Preminger.
Given the multiple holds, we asked the court maybe to consider a bond not exceeding the amount on the warrant in both matters. It's fine. Sure. I'll need what? Take care. Okay. So. Sorry, Mr. No objection, Your Honor.
All right. So it's going to be a $10,000 cash secured bond on that fugitive warrant matter out of Texas. Your next court date on that is going to be a review hearing on the fugitive warrant. That's going to be next Wednesday, the 6th of May, to 1:30 in the afternoon in Superior Court. On that, no firearms or weapons, no alcohol, illegal drugs, and let's see, represented by the legal defender on that, as I said. And let me move on to the other felony matter. So on the arrest warrant matter, at alleging the theft of means and other stuff, that is a $30,000 bond, cash secured. And going to set the preliminary hearing on that. That's going to be on May 11th, 1:30 in the afternoon. Legal defender is the same attorney there, so that makes sense. Again, no firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs. Do not drive without a valid driver's license, no contact to the alleged victims. And then we have the misdemeanor. And on that, I'm going to release you, but you need to be back in Justice Court. Actually, you know what? On that, I'm going to hold you on a $100 bond. The reason why I'm going to do that is it's going to help me get you a court date sooner. If you do bond out, sir, which you might, it sounds like you might based on the conversation that you were having a minute ago about, essentially deferring to the court on the bond issue. It's important that you come back and, get these hearings taken care of as necessary. That includes the one on the misdemeanor. Okay, that's fair. I appreciate that. So on the misdemeanor, the next court date is going to be on May 4th, 1:30 in the afternoon. So if you're still in custody, you'll be seen on video for that. Might be able to get it resolved relatively quickly if you're interested in doing that, but you of course have the right to take it to trial if you want to do that. So that takes care of that. I'm also ordering no contact with the alleged victim as it relates to that misdemeanor matter. Do not go to the alleged victim's residence and or place of work.
My sister's the one that I was with when I turned myself in on this. She's actually helping me get through this right now.
Okay, well, you're gonna have a hearing on Monday, so just talk with the judge about that. Let the judge know, and then the judge may be able to change it at that later date. But for now, that's what I got to do. All right, so that takes care of all of that. Last thing I got to tell you, and then we're done, is it sounds like you're very interested in getting these matters resolved, so that's good to hear. But if you do otherwise, you don't come back to future court dates, you could get a warrant for your arrest, sir. Find yourself back in custody. All right.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Sorry, one last quick word. Does he need an attorney appointed on the Justice Court case?
Yes, he does. So I'm sorry. I should have. Thank you for the reminder on that. I am going to appoint. Let's do Peter Gutierrez. So his information is going to be on the paperwork that you get, including his phone number. So just a second, there he is. All right, that takes care of that. Thank you, folks.
And 100. Yeah, that's 30. Yeah.
Sanchez.
Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Tell me your name.
Pedro Romero Sanchez.
Sanchez, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on a couple things. So you do have new charges that allege felony conduct involving possession of a weapon or use of a weapon in a drug offense, possession of a weapon while being a prohibited possessor, possession of a narcotic drug, possession of drug paraphernalia. On all four of those matters, you're presumed innocent. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say about them could be used against you. And I'm also seeing you on a failure to appear out of Marana for a misdemeanor shoplifting allegation. You have all the same rights on that, presumption of innocence and so forth. And so you also have the right to be represented by an attorney on the felony matters. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you, sir. And in order to prepare for the hearing and review the information in the interim complaint, the information from pretrial services and the state's recommendation, which I hold you on a $5,000 cash secured bond. Mr. Moser, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Preminger.
I consult Mr. Sanchez very quickly.
Sure.
Okay.
Your Honor, Mr. Sanchez believes if given the opportunity, he would be able to appear for court. He thinks he knows he'll get there. I did raise his awareness to the warrant out of Marana. He thinks he can get everything taken care of. So he's asking, he says he's got a residence in Tucson, so he's asking for an opportunity on pretrial release. In the alternative, he said the most he could probably come up with would be a few $100s for maybe a secured, throw something secured at a few $1,000s max. If we're not going to release him today.
All right, the court is going to impose a $3,500 cash secured bond. And sir, if you post that bond, you're going to be released to pretrial services. So please comply with any monitoring or treatment that they ask you to comply with. No firearms or weapons, no alcohol or illegal drugs. Public defender's your attorney. Next court date's a preliminary hearing. That's going to be on May 11th, 1:30 in the afternoon. Stay in contact with your attorney, please, on the felony stuff, because they can tell you what's going on with the preliminary hearing. On the misdemeanor out of Marana, I'm going to hold you on a $100 cash secured bond on that. And set your next court date. It's going to be on Monday at noon. So if you do get out of custody, sir, you post that bond, you need to go up to Marana on Monday at noon. If you're still in custody, you'll be seen on video there. I'm appointing Janet Altschuler to represent you. And her information is going to be on the paperwork you get. And on that, do not go back to the incident location wherever the shoplifting is alleged to have occurred, please. And that should take care of it. Other than to let you know, sir, that you got to come back to future court dates, because if you don't do that, the warrant's going to issue for your arrest. All right. Thank you. You're excused.
Sir. Michael. 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 What's up? See here.
Good morning, sir.
Right.
Please tell me your name.
Michael Shosky.
Oscar, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you possessed a narcotic drug, possessed drug paraphernalia. You're presumed innocent of both those allegations. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say about these matters could be used against you. You also have the right to be represented by an attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender to represent you. In order to prepare for the hearing and review the information in the interim complaint, the information from pretrial and the state's recommendation, which is that I hold you on a $500 bond. Mr. Mosier, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
Thanks, Mr. Preminger.
I make Mr. Shosker very quickly. Mr. Shosker's, he does have a friend in Tucson who he believes he could reside with, given the nature of the charges. And it looks like any criminal history he has is pretty old. I do see there's something about probation in California potentially, although it also looks pretty old. So if he's not going to be held otherwise, he's requesting a chance to appear at court from out of custody. If the court's not inclined to release him, we would not object to the $500 bond.
All right, thank you. I am going to release you to the supervision of pretrial services, sir. So a couple of things are important. First of all, that you come back to court. Second of all, that you submit to any monitoring or treatment that they ask you to comply with. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. Public defender's your attorney. Wait time on the PH.
Sure.
All right, so I'm going to set the preliminary hearing. That's going to be on June 15th, 1:30 in the afternoon. It also looks like you might be eligible for a program called STEPS. So it's a good opportunity, in my humble opinion, because it gives you a way, if you're eligible for it, it gives you a way to have this whole case dismissed before you ever get indicted, let alone convicted. Are you interested in learning more about that opportunity, sir? All right, so what you would agree to do, I'm just going to give you the 3-second version and then we'll be done for today. You would agree to complete drug treatment. If you do that, stay in contact with pretrial services, then you earn that dismissal. Your next court date is going to be a STEPS hearing. That's going to be 1 week from today. That's going to be on Friday, May 8th, 9 o'clock in the morning. It's on the 3rd floor of Superior Court in front of Judge Miller. It's important that you come back to that court date. So you need to come on down to Superior Court next Friday, 9 o'clock in the morning, so you can learn more about that STEPS opportunity. Because if you don't do that, you could lose the ability to participate in it. You could get a warrant for your arrest. You understand all that, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, thanks. You're excused.
Do it.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning,
Please tell me your name.
Giovanni Stewart.
Mr. Stewart, this is your initial appearance, excuse me. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you committed aggravated driving under the influence and also aggravated driving under the influence in the sense with a suspended license was the first one. And then as to the second one, it's alleging that you have 3 or more offenses within the last 7 years. On all of these allegations, you are presumed innocent. Anything you say about them could be used against you. And you do have the right to remain silent. And also have the right to be represented by an attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender to represent you. And in order to prepare for this hearing, I did review the information in the interim complaint. I reviewed the information provided by pretrial services and the state's recommendation, which is release to pretrial services. I will let counsel know that I am inclined to hold Mr. Stewart on a bond. Mr. Moser, you want to be heard further on that?
Well, Your Honor, after reviewing the interim complaint, I'm moving to dismiss this without prejudice at this time.
Okay. All right. And Mr. Preminger, any objection to that?
No, Your Honor.
All right. In light of the state's desire to dismiss this matter without prejudice, that's what I'm going to do. And so let me just get this punched in here and then we will be done. All right, so given the state's desire to dismiss this matter, it's ordered that this matter is dismissed without prejudice. Mr. Stewart, you will be released from custody today's date, probably within the next hour or two. And that takes care of it. You are excused. And actually, hang on, a couple things. So I got ahead of myself. You have a misdemeanor out of Tucson City Court that we need to talk about. Another thing is that while this case is being dismissed, the felony is being dismissed, it's possible that it could be charged in the future. So it's important that we have a good address for you on file, because if it does get charged in the future, then something would be mailed to you, and we need to make sure that there's a good mail-in address on file so that you know that it's happening. Because if we have a bad address, then a warrant will issue for your arrest, and things could kind of snowball from there. So that's just as an aside. Let me talk to you about the city matter. And on the city matter, I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you failed to appear in. Actually, I'm sorry, it's not a failure to appear. I'm seeing you on a charge that alleged that you committed driving under the influence and driving without a valid driver's license that is alleged to have happened back on July 21st of 2025. And you're presumed innocent of that as well. And on this, I will say that I'm inclined to hold you on this, sir, because it seems that there could be a problem as it relates to you driving and drinking or being impaired one way or another. So on this, sir, I am going to hold you on a $1,000 cash secured bond. And I'm going to appoint the city public defender to represent you. And your next court date is going to be a video review. It's going to be on May 8th, so 1 week from today at 1:45 in the afternoon. And that's going to be in front of Judge Mayhew. And if you do post a bond, sir, you get out of custody, you're ordered to not possess or consume any alcoholic beverages or illegal drugs. Do not drive without a valid driver's license. And a couple last things from me, and then we'll be done, is that you need to come back to future court dates, because if you don't do that, a warrant will issue for your arrest. Also, trial on the misdemeanor that could go forward in your absence, or if you were convicted at that trial and could not be sentenced within 90 days of the conviction, you could lose your ability to appeal the conviction. Do you understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. You are excused.
Sir, can I get the bail lowered to 500?
Not going to do it, sir. I'm sorry. That's what I'm going to do. So good luck to you.
$1,000, Your Honor?
Yes. Good morning, sir.
Morning.
Please tell me your name.
Triton Warren.
All right, Mr. Warren, this is your initial appearance. I'm seeing you on charges that allege that you committed aggravated driving under the influence and possession of drug paraphernalia. And you're presumed innocent of those allegations, sir. And anything you say about them could be used against you. And you also have the right to be represented by an attorney. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. And in order to prepare for the hearing or review the information in the interim complaint, the information from pretrial and the state's recommendation, which is that I hold you on a $2,500 cash secured bond. Mr. Mosier, anything further?
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Preminger.
Your Honor, may I speak very briefly with Mr.
Sure.
Stewart?
Go for it.
Right. Your Honor, Mr. Stewart was just indicating $1,000. He said would probably be the absolute maximum he'd be able to post. He doesn't even know if he could do that. So if the court is inclined to hold him, we'd ask the court consider that in terms of his means to pay.
All right, thank you. I do find the information in the interim complaint to be concerning. You are presumed innocent of it, sir, but nevertheless, the allegations are very concerning to the court. So in light of that, I'm imposing a $5,500 cash secured bond. If you post that bond, sir, you're going to be supervised by pretrial services. So please comply with any monitoring or treatment that they ask you to comply with. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons. Do not drive without a valid driver's license. Next court date is going to be a preliminary hearing. That's going to be on May 11th, 1:30 in the afternoon. Please stay in contact with the attorney at the public defender because they can talk with you more about that. And also, if you don't come back to future court dates, you're going to get a warrant for your arrest. So please be sure to come on back. Thank you, sir. You are excused.
Sir, come here.
Oh, there we go. I think we have Miss Wells still. Oh, there we go. Patiently waiting. All right. So jail on Miss Wells, does she have, is that Sierra Vista matter? Is that acting as a hold for her? Anybody over there knows? I'm trying to figure out if that's a hold or.
You're checking.
Thank you.
It's not doing it. No.
No, Your Honor.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to order you released on this matter, ma'am, but I do need you to know. So there was a $500 bond that was showing on a matter.
My house. Oh, sir.
No,
My husband paid it.
Oh, he did? Okay. All right. So then, yeah.
He paid it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I appreciate the information because the jail said that there's no hold. That is consistent with the fact that your husband paid it because there's nothing that is, acting as a detainer.
He paid two of them.
Okay.
He paid for the city court too, but city court told me, Alameda, they told me when I got to a residential to a place, don't leave, to take care of the matter. They'll get with whoever.
Okay.
To take care of that one.
All right. That sounds
And
good to me.
Sierra Vista Court, I've been trying to get in touch with them, sir. Honestly, I have. And it's really hard.
Right. Well, so here's what I would recommend you do. So I'm going to order you released on the matter at a Sierra Vista Justice Court. Given that there's no hold on this, you would probably be released anyways once you were taken to the Haven because there's nothing else to hold on to you because the bond was paid. So I'm going to order that you're released as to this matter only for now. And then once the Haven is good to go for you to be taken over there, Miss Brunt, your probation officer, Gabby, their new PO will be probably involved in that transfer as well, potentially. But in any event, I just want to make sure that this isn't going to jam you up and prevent you from going to the Haven. So it sounds like it's not because the bond's already been paid. What I'm going to do is just a second. I am going to show that you are released on this matter. And just a second. Do I need? All right, so I'm not going to set any future dates on this matter here, but just, you know this already, but I'll say it again. You still have that matter down in Sierra Vista. So while it's not going to keep you from going to treatment, that's something that's going to need to be addressed during your time on probation. So just keep speaking with Mr. Knox, Steve Knox. You got a great attorney. He's going to be able to probably help, help facilitate all this. So that should take care of it. And I'm not setting any other future dates. So that should take care of all this. And you are excused. Thank you, ma'am.
So what,
Yeah.
so what does that mean? Does that mean I'm going to the Haven?
Yes,
Yes.
whenever the Haven's ready to take you to the Haven, then you're going to the Haven. All right. So
You were already approved. I'm with Hope Incorporated. We've gotten, so we're just gonna wait a little bit to get, I'm gonna talk to Knox and then your new probation officer. That way we can get your release planning. So it'll be within the next few days. It is Friday today, so it might be like Monday, Tuesday, but then I will come and pick you up and take you directly there.
Well, for sure.
Just as soon as they give me a release for that. As soon as they give me a date, the Haven's waiting for you.
For sure.
Okay.
Sometime next week?
Yes.
For sure, though, or just?
I'm promised you. I told you, I'm here for you. We got it, girl.
All right, okay.
Okay.
yeah, Ms. Wells, have a good weekend. Be patient. You'll be at the Haven in no time. And thank the folks at Hope. They're great at helping to facilitate all
Thank
this.
you.
All righty. Take care. All right, everybody have a good day and a good weekend, folks.